Hello, and welcome to Andrew Broussard Watercolors. This video will be the last one for the evening, where I'm looking at 3 different 5x7 panels for oil painting, and I'm looking for a minimalist palette or pigment to utilize with it. So far, we used burnt umber, and this was on the Centurion Universal Primed Linen. Then we had raw umber, which was on the Centurion Linen that was oil primed. And then lastly, this is the Ampersand Museum Series Gesso Board. With this, the only other water-soluble oils I have are these two right here. I've used this color combination before of the phthalo green and the quinacridone rose, or what do they call it? Phthalo red rose. And they're mixed to a really cool color. Our main goal here is obviously to have fun, but also to see how far back to white we can wipe, to see the total range of values and see what would work from kind of the tonalist monochromatic approach. All right, so I have just these ceramic little containers. I would like to have a plastic one, but was not able to find one. This is the Grumbacher Max. I think these have been around since the 80s. I had ordered some phthalo green a few years back, and the company had sent me the wrong type of paint. So they sent this Grumbacher Max instead of whatever I was ordering. So I wound up ordering the rose to go along with it to kind of try them side by side. Been able to get my 2-color palette that I really enjoy in watercolor. So that's kind of the origins of this mixture. I think I won't mention him much, but I don't really. Gurney, I think Gurney might have had a 2-color palette of the phthalo blue and the quinacridone rose. I'm just covering this completely. I don't even have any palette composition in mind. Let's see how far back we can wipe. All right, we have our staining color obviously taking place. If I wet it, it's severely limited with being able to wipe that back. So I'm thinking right off the bat, if you're going fast and loose and you want to go plein air painting, I would think that this is a scenario where you would want white as well. So with burnt umber and raw umber, I was able to wipe back. Here, I can't. I was able to wet and scrub, and it would lift a lot easier. Okay, so that's good to know. I'm gonna have to progress from this point. I'm gonna put out a little bit more of this rose. What other 2-color combinations? If you use burnt umber, raw sienna and ultramarine. I'm not sure if ultramarine is staining. if you use anything with a phthalo blue, the phthalo is going to stain. I mean, I am thoroughly enjoying painting with these water-soluble oils, but for a ultimately minimalist approach, we're going to be a little restricted unless we plan our compositions more. Wait, is wetting the brush helping? The phthalo green might be lifting, so let's see. Okay, so I'll probably repeat this a few times, but so far what I learned is that it's definitely the pigment, not the surface, that's going to matter the most, at least with the approach that I'm trying to take. Though with this one, we should get a lot more texture. So a little bit of a backstory. So I've mentioned Dennis Sheehan and Stuart Davies tons of times, and I watched a lot of Stuart Davies and his illusion of how to obtain the illusion of detail in painting YouTube video. And one of the things that he does, I think he buys the MDF board. He'll paint, he'll gesso it, and then he'll sand it down smooth. I think he gessos it again, sands it down smooth. Part of it is probably in order to be able to buy such a large size and to do that. The other part gives him a very smooth surface to wipe back to. I had tried, I'd gotten back into oils around that time after watching those, and I had picked up the cheap cotton canvas, kind of like when you find a 5-pack of it or a 10-pack of it at Michael's or Hobby Lobby or Joann's Fabric, whatever art store you frequent. And I think I was having trouble wiping back with those. And this was just straight oil painting. This isn't water-soluble oil or using any type of solvents. And I had asked Mr. Stuart Davies suggestions, and I don't mean to put any words in his mouth, and this is just trying to recollect conversations I had with him, where he had said, if you're going to go with the canvas, at least go with linen, I think, because it's tighter wove. But the gesso boards and things like that were the way to go with that style. And that's me just trying to recollect back to 2018, a conversation. So there is that. Like once I said, once again, I wasn't thinning things out at the time. When I took oil painting classes in college, we had used, or at least I had used, the big tubes of probably the Winsor & Newton or Blick oil paint, and we didn't use any solvents whatsoever or anything mixing in. I'm not sure why. I'm thinking that those classes were very focused on mixing and kind of having the impressionist approach and laying color side by side when we were painting. It was looking very dark, which is a positive with this color combination. If we were to make a palette and we wanted a dark rather than using black, we could use this. But yeah, so that's what we had used. And that was up at Stony Brook. That's when I did my undergraduate in math and physics. And took a lot of art courses there. Then I moved down to Louisiana and I went to UL. And while I was doing my teaching certifications, I was taking the art classes. I was even taking like just art history classes, just like Art 101, things like that, just to eventually got, you know, the certification to teach art as well. I'm guessing that was the goal at the time. But there was the drawing classes that I took at UL, which were very beneficial. I think I had learned the most from that. Then there was the painting classes, which a lot of people were painting in acrylic, and I was painting in oil. I think I had to get permission to do that because, or at least had to message them or email them and say, hey, this is what I have, you know. So they let me sign up for the class, but use oils in there. I don't think they had the best ventilation system there, but I also wasn't using solvents, once again. And I was painting thick and heavy. Now my oil painting approach is a lot different than what it was back then. Why are we getting back to the white of it here? But not so much in the other spots. It is a very whimsical color combination. You can get some really expressive stuff. In plein air painting. It's kind of expressive, I wouldn't say fauvist, but I guess I'll say fauvist. I feel like I need to bring up something from this corner. So now it's just playing around compositionally, which, I mean, is going to have textural experimentation and the wiping back. Where did I think I threw the Q-tip away. Used it in a different one. So these are like, I guess, makeup Q-tips. They have a little bit of a thinner point, but for me, they really don't have a different use. So I would just stick with regular Q-tips. Now, speaking of scraping tools and scratching tools, we could probably obviously cut this in half and use whatever material the stick is made out of for it. And that might be another on-site location tool to minimize what we're working with. just hitting kind of backside. It's kind of, well, that's one of the issues I've noticed right there, is that if I have a pool of the water-soluble paint mixed with the water there in the palette, and you pick it up, it's much like kind of glopping the paint in the water on an oil painting, on a watercolor, which I like to use drier and stiffer paint in watercolor as I progress through the painting. I'm thinking that I'm trying to carry that same feel over. Ways to lay down thin lines of pigment are definitely getting explored. Here's taking just a flat razor blade. It's a little interesting texture there. And of course, if you're going to use a razor blade, please be careful. Let's just scrape that sky, see if anything will come out. Oh, okay. So if we want to pull back to the white with staining colors, the scraping helps a little bit, but it adds more of a, once again, a whimsical type effect. Is that showing up on camera? Yeah. And a palette knife would work too, but I'm just thinking like size and space with transporting things. Okay, so let me put that there. How far are we into this? We're about 17 minutes in. Okay. I'm going to scrape my name into it, and then we'll talk about this. Okay. So, as a wrap up of today, first started out with the Universal Prime with Burnt Umber. Everything with the experiment worked well. We got our stereotypical warmth that we expected, and we learned that we can use the wet paper towel to erase. Then from there, we have our raw umber on our the oil primed linen, which gives potentially a different drying effect. We'll have to wait to see for that down the line. White back just as well. The raw umber erased very well, and it gave us our dark effect. And I think, I don't know, we'll both have just a classic feel to them. The last one, which is a mixture of our phthalo blue, and I'm just going to call it Quinacridone and Rose, just to make it easy. With that one, that was on our smooth Ampersand gesso board, which we saw that the pigments had a staining property to it, and I'm thinking that that's why we had such trouble erasing back. I thought that the material would be the easiest to erase back to the white, but that was not the case. It seems as if the pigment itself is going to play the biggest part. So that's something to keep in mind. We did see that the razor blade did come in handy there, where it really wasn't too useful in the other ones. The thin scraping tool helped out quite a bit as well. The brush itself, this is a cheapo brush from Hobby Lobby, a synthetic bristle brush. I want to maybe experiment with some chip brushes, but any type of brush where we can just get a lot of texture and kind of really put through the motions. So on that note, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know down below what you think, what you want me to experiment with. This is the extent of the water-soluble oils that I have, so I'll have to order more if there's other colors you want me to try out. That being said, if you want to support, I have the Patreon down below, so I would greatly appreciate that. Also, if you have any post-shade boxes that you'd recommend, let me know. Kind of looking at that Gorilla 5x7 one. All right, I think that's everything. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.